Okay, let's get started on our fourth lesson in our Kibana 8 training. The link to the resources required to perform the training is in the description below. So particularly in this datasets folder, that's where the datasets are to load up into Elasticsearch. So we've had 3 lessons so far. We spoke about Data View Discover tab, simple visualization and map visualizations. And this one we're going to be looking at dashboard functionality within Kibana, which is really powerful. So we're going to load up a few records into Elasticsearch through Kibana. So this is the highest grossing animated films dataset that we've got from Wikipedia. We're going to create a saved search list and then create 4 visualizations and then pull them all together in a dashboard. So we hope to get something that looks like this at the end of this process. So a nice bit of a dashboard, some big numbers on the right, and be able to search that. The process that we're going to follow is load up the data into Kibana. Basically, we're going to we're not going to let Kibana automatically create the data view for us. We're going to do that manually, and then we're going to make a few little tweaks in relation to the presentation of the year and the gross amount field, gross revenue field, and then create some dashboards and pull it all together. We are going to use a mapping that we've configured already, which is really brief. Basically, I think the main update relates to this, setting the release date to be a year and specifying the format for that, and specifying that gross revenue is a long, not a text field. Additionally, we're having the movie title as with field data enabled, which allows for aggregations of the free text terms, but also having movie title as a keyword field, so we can do aggregations of the full text as a block of text. So I've copied that mapping, and we'll use that when we're loading the data. So highest grossing animated films. Okay, let's jump into Kibana and see how we go. So this is the home screen. You can use a Kibana instance, as we've said, that you run locally, but definitely recommend going for a cloud offering like Elasticsearch or Bonsai. So we go upload a file, and we'll say highest grossing animated films, which is the file that we downloaded from that GitHub repository. We'll go open. So it does some analysis. There's 50 records within this file. Gives us some stats about those records. Looks all good. We say import. I'm going to call this films. We're going to create the data view for us manually. We go advanced. We dump in that mapping again. So mapping is like the schema that you specify for a database in an Oracle database, for example, and how the data should be stored and indexed in Elasticsearch. So we hit import. So it's loaded our 50 records. Let's go to data view. We'll go to data view, so we'll create one. We'll call it films. We'll select the time field being year released, and that data view will now be created in year released. We want to change the format because it's a year. So, oops, I think I've done that before. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that year is good. And we also wanted to look at the gross revenue and work out how we wanted that displayed. So we're saying that's a number, and I think we've had how we want it to display here with the dot. Like that. Yep, looks good. So now we can go to the Discover tab, and we'll see those matching results for the last 15 minutes, which is as expected. So we'll go to years, go last 30 years. Not sure how long this goes back. Yep, that's one from 1994. And we need to go to documents. Oh. So it's got a bit of a some fields here which aren't in this data set. We can just remove. And we'll see like that document view, which is really nice, but it's much better to see it as a bit of a list. So we'll go rank, movie title, gross revenue. So we're happy with that ordering. So maybe rank first, then movie title. rank first, movie title, year released, gross revenue. Yeah, looks pretty good. So we can save that as a save search or a search list. So we'll call that films search list. So we'll be using that presentation of the data in our dashboard. Let's also start creating some visualization. So we can just go straight to here and then look at year released, and then that takes us to lenses. So we've done this before. We go and create a vertical bar chart, stacked, and then we can say break down by movie title. Those bars are a little bit, so on top 3, so we want, I think it's 50. So it looks better, but I wonder if it's a way we can increase the width of those rows. Not exactly sure how to do that here in the lenses view, but that's something we can do in the alignment number of columns. So we can get rid of the legend. Axis. No, it doesn't like something we can increase here. So yeah, so that's the count of movies, and yeah, I guess the fact that it's a pretty simple count, that gives us a reasonable visualization. But yeah, I do prefer the classic view where you can increase the width of the columns. So what else we've got here? So year released, count. Okay, let's just go with that. Oh, here we go. It says per 30 days. So if we go into here, year released, and we specify the size of the bucket, customize interval, and so we say that to be 365 days, then we'll get nice big blocks. There you go, which is exactly what we wanted. So we'll save that, and we'll call that lenses for year released. So we can say histogram count of movies by year, and we'll say no dashboard for now. So we just basically add it to the library. If we go save again, we can just fix that spelling mistake. And rather than the count of records, we can say the gross revenue. So this is median gross revenue. We'll go for sum of gross revenue. So that's a bit more interesting picture. We'll hit save on that. And we wanted to have some metrics. So we'll go visualization library. So we now have one saved in our visualization library. We can go create, and we can say aggregation based. I think we can actually do this in lenses. Let's have a try to do it in lenses. So lenses is a newer functionality, and it's quite nice, but doesn't maybe have all the same tweaks and knobs. So if we go gross revenue here. Here we go, medium of gross revenue. So rather than medium, we can go in here and say sum. We have advanced options here. Go do here. And I have a formula. Here you go. And so we can say, let's divide that by 1,000,000. And we can say gross revenue millions. And then we can say save. Again, we'll not add to a library. Oh, yep, so none, so it's added to the library. And we also want to put a average revenue. So we can go here, go average, also want to be able to specify format, decimals, no, I was wondering if there was there's a suffix, I wonder if there was a prefix, color by fill. So got gross revenue, and now I'll create another one called save as new visualization average. So by default, it will save over the existing one. So it basically assigns an ID and then just keeps updating it. Here we're saying create a new one. So average revenue. So now if we go to the dashboards panel, so dashboards, we can say create a dashboard, and then we can just start dropping things in from our library. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things to drop in. So, and the way we want to sort of set it up is to have this at the top. We want to have these over to the side. Just looking nice. Get it much smaller. So you just can move the side. That's good. There. But so in the average revenue, I said gross revenue still, so I'll need to fix that. And then I'll put this over here. And drop that there. Drop this over here. Oops. It's looking pretty good. So we'll say save that as dashboard. So the benefit there is that you can use different visualizations across multiple dashboards if you don't associate it directly within a dashboard. We can store that time there, we hit save. So now we've saved our dashboard. We can go in here and start tweaking these visualizations directly. So see how it says gross revenue. We want into here and say average revenue. And then it says save and return. That'll take us to our visualization, which is exactly what we want. I think we want to put that up there. And we have one more visualization to add in. So we can just go, so let's hit save here. And we'll go create visualization. And we were going to do, what were we going to do? Have to have a look. Over here it was going to be release date by revenue. So it's actually very similar to this one over here. So we'll just go gross revenue, release date, and the terms aggregation for the movie title. We'll change this again to 50, and we'll change it to be dots over here. That's exactly what we want. We'll then remove the legend. Perfect. And let's have save and return. And that's going to drop it straight into this visualization. It'll put it at the bottom here. We'll move it over to here. Drop it up over here. Move it this way. Drop it here. And there we go. Now why have we seen no records in here? It's not what I expected. Let's hit save. So we have records in every one of these other dashboards, and I expect if I click here, I'll see records. Yep, looks good. Seems that somehow I've created a first row, which is very large. So auto fit the rows, reset to default potentially. Single, go back here. So again, there we go, that's fixed the problem. So I'm just going to leave it there. That's how to create a dashboard. Now the dashboard's been created, we can switch to view mode, and now it's a nice dashboard, and we can do searches like and we'll get results.